Hello everyone, MrSneakyy here and welcome to another episode of the War Room Open Field PvP live commentary and analysis to teach you guys better PvP skills. So let's go into today's episode. Hello everyone and welcome. We are in server 99 today for this episode, and it's a really good one because this is a really close server versus server. Their passes just opened a few hours ago. We did miss the super fight, but which is really better for this episode, and what I wanted to cover is small skirmishes and small skirmish fighting, right? Because it's at the end of the big war generally where you get these style of fights. And these style of fights for you guys, especially if you're like a free-to-play player and stuff and maybe not the highest of power, this is actually a really good way to fight, because at the end of the main brunt, as you can see, a lot of players that are still fighting are either weaker or they just woke up, like myself for example. So you're going to get a more even potential experience depending on activity, right? And this is where today's episode is going to come into like a nice full circle with small skirmishes, activity, as well as different positioning. Like always, positioning is going to be one key element throughout this series that I'm going to try and teach you guys in it. So I hope you've enjoyed it so far with all the PvP that we've been covering. I know some of it has been a bit hasty because you can see sometimes the live chat, and you got to remember we do try and record while we are live streaming, so I do apologize for some of the chats sometimes that appear in the videos. But it's so, again, if you guys are in the live stream, you're going to be able to see yourselves in some potentially future videos. So it's a nice little way of getting all the community together as well, right? So before we go any further, smash like, comment and subscribe, guys. You know you enjoy the channel and all the PvP content. Hero guys, behemoth guides, you name it, Call of Dragons, it's here, right? It's always here. So let's go into today's episode. So here we've got a nice little small skirmishing. So this is a really effective method where one player is using 3 marches, 4 marches here. And by using 4 marches, is using effectively as much damage as he can, and he's trying to punish this player, right? This OnlyFans might be a T5 player, which is obviously why he's able to take so much damage with this Lilia Vela March. So he is going to get a massive hospital bill, but you can see the mage player though targeting down the infantry unit first, right? And by doing this, he's actually losing out. It sounds crazy, but he is losing out because he is within range of Eflik's units. So he could have been hitting AoE damage on all of these units and even targeted his own Lilia, right? And this would have been a more fair matchup where he might have done actually way more damage because he's hitting 3 units with that AoE, right? So that's all about his positioning and awareness on what he could have been potentially been hitting in targets, right? So let's move on. Let's go into another area of this zone because there's some really nice little parts in here that you're going to enjoy throughout today. Welcome back. So we're at the other side of the map right now. So before we were looking in Kaltea, right? And now we're in Forgotten Lands. And this is a really cool thing that you're going to be able to watch here. And it's basically like OHP doing a small rallying of troops where they get some troops here every so often. And when they do, they basically come in waves. And as coming in a wave, you can see they're trying to stop KC99 here, trying to push forward, right? Because these guys are obviously trying to destroy these buildings and stuff. They're trying to be a bit of a nuisance to them, right? And these guys are holding a very strong positioning. Because when we look out and we zoom out on here, we're going to be able to actually figure out, you know, what does this look like on the live draw, right? Because you guys love the live draw feature. I do enjoy it too. It gives you the ability to see, you know, what is truly going on, you know. So let's just explain it here. So we've got that KC9 murder ball, right? We might need to align this back up as well, so we'll do a test one. But they are all lined up here, right? So this is the KC99 area. We do need to move it just a little bit. There we go. And by being where they are, like I said, you're able to then push forward into the OHP Alliance, right? But the OHP Alliance are doing a fantastic job too, because as you notice, if we just get our tool drawn, these are environmental walls, right? So these are the terrain on the map, which is dictating the flow of combat. And this is something you're going to see as well in Roots of War. So it's really good to be able to see this here and apply it into your Roots of War combat. So what they've done is created, as you can see, some barricades all located in the very top section just to fall back on. But they're basically using all of this area now as the dead zone, as you guys know that we love to mention and talk about. And the dead zone again allows them, if they need to defend, all the capabilities to fire multiple AoEs from different angles into the dead zone, right? Because it's a choke point, and everyone knows choke points is super strong in Call of Dragons and other Kingdom Builder games that use this type of strategy because of the amount of area of effect damage. As well as this though, you've got to remember we have terrain. So what you do have the capabilities to do if you are flying is also, remember, you can fly over this and create flanks. So they do need to worry about the potential of, you know, KC99 creating a big murder ball, for example, all in this vicinity, controlling pretty much the top end of the map. And then what they could do is with KC99, they could push into this main zone now, right? And they can try and get control there. But while they are gaining the control, they could send all of their flying units to create a flank from the back end, right? And this is a very cool effect. It's a two-pronged pincer attack. And this is something that the enemy probably wouldn't be expecting if you have all your units all together in the murder ball. Because when you're all together, and you do have a very tight murder ball at the start, before you move in, it hides all the troops, and hiding troops is really good information to hide from your opponents, right? So really do enjoy what we're seeing so far from both sides. You can see KC99 doing their job to protect these zones, while you've got the OHP guys again building up the barricades and creating these wave-based areas where they're able to come and actually eventually, when they get enough activity, basically fight on even terms. It's a really good strategy, really nice to see different combat styles that is laid out after the main engagement, right? Because again, this is after the main pass opening. You can see the times at 10 UTC. I think the main pass opened around at 3 or 4 UTC, right? So you're going to be able to now see strategies develop and small skirmishes where a lot of players can get a ton of merit if you use certain strategies correctly. So let's move on. Let's go to another area that we found in Server 99, which has been amazing to see some small skirmishes and talk about, again, more positioning and PvP commentary when we get involved. Welcome back. So yes, this is going to be the finale of the episode here. We're going to watch some more small skirmish fighting, all that's happening within Server 99 right now. If you're wondering who we are watching, again, I'll just show the case. This is Division Server 99, 100, 101 and 102 in their fight. We'll showcase all the powers and alliances at the end, don't worry. But we've got a nice little bit of skirmishing here, right? Nice little bit of flanking play by these cavalry units trying to move on the bottom side of the map here to try and get a little bit closer to this HK murder ball. So now you're going to be able to see some really good artifacts and focus fire here. So you can see Cam here taking the brunt of the force on Red Devil and being able to escape. A really good thing for him. And now Juan is doing the same, right? Mr. Juan is doing the exact same, being the front line for OHD now, pushing forward and doing a considerable amount of AoE damage. And you can see this nice little murder ball here. The small corners of it, and it is focusing on whoever the main tank line was here, right? But now you're going to see a different approach. All the front line is gone. This is just backline versus backline right now. But you can get a nice little flank here by Akven. Akven's going in for the kill here. He's got the cavalry, and you can see that massive skill damage hit he just did onto the archer player, right? And that is all about the cavalry unit advantage system right here. The range on the mages being showcased there, you could see it almost looks like he's getting hit from almost half the screen away, which is kind of crazy to see that when you're looking and thinking about the range differences between mage, archer and cavalry. So then when we're going into it now, you can see things are a little bit more chilled out, but you can see the defensive positioning, right? The defensive positioning for HK is very, very good, but you can see why the OH members are being a bit more aggressive in their territory placement, or should I say where their troops are placed right now, because of this ramp. You know, being actually placed at this ramp is really good, because again, if you can imagine this, if you are on the OAH side right here, you could have murder balls set up here, right? Or even a murder ball set up further down, located round on this side. And by located here, these troops that you're dedicating now allows you to basically move freely in between this pass. So it's a really good little bit of territory gain in this area of combat, right? And by doing that, it's allowing these guys to apply pressure here, because this is where, if we just change color, this is the other alliance territory right now. So the OH guys with only little troops are able to poke at these guys and try and delay them, as well as get some free merits, right? And that's what we get to see. Nice little small skirmish fighting, and this is kind of the beauty of using small skirmish fighting. So you can see these little troops freely able to enter the fight, and this is all coming down to, again, your map positioning, where you choose to place your troops in the fight, and what your aim is as an alliance, right? So really good to see both sides working really, really well. As you can imagine, OHD doing a really good job holding a more aggressive front, while HK is holding a perfect defensive line on their territorial flag that they're building. As you can see, within 34 minutes this will be up, and then they can push forward again. So we're going to see if there is any other action, but for now, if we look at all of the rankings, as we said we were going to do, the current personal power, you can see the top three is pretty darn close within each other, all in different alliances. I personally do not know all the unions or allies between all of the servers, but I know someone in the comments will tell you that information, and if they give you a good detailed description of what's going on, which isn't biased, I'll pin that comment, and again, you guys will be able to see that, right? So when we're coming down, you're going to see the 60 marks now, and again, there's a load of 60 players, but it's all close, as you can see, and then it starts to drop down a little bit more, and then we're hitting into the 30 millions, and as soon as we hit the 30 million, this is where you're going to start seeing it. It's quite even, and this is what I like. I like a really even kingdom. All the power is pretty much within a few 100k of each other, and that's what makes it super competitive, as you can see. And it's not even massive, right? The power gap's not really insane, which is really good, you know? Really friendly for free-to-play players, as well as it's nice for the spenders, right? Because the spenders can spend without having to go crazy, for example, and they still have, you know, their T4 players all there that support them. So really, really good. Really enjoy this server. We can see here a little bit more action just before we finish up the episode. If you have enjoyed it so far, smash a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. My name is MrSneakyy, official Call of Dragons content creator, here giving you PvP commentary and guides, trying to teach you PvP awareness and just fundamentals of the game to hopefully teach you to be a better player. So this is the War Room. This whole series is going to be dedicated all the time to PvP. So if you guys want to help, you can always check out the Discord server description will have a link where you can click that. I'm going to be updating the link to make sure it works for you all. And when you click on the link, you'll be able to join the server. You can post your server wars at what time, when there's small skirmishes. If there's something happening right now and I'm online, I'll be able to also jump on and check it out. So it's there to get PvP footage for you guys for this series, so I can break it down and teach you how to play, hopefully, the game better as a PvP player. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode of the War Room. It's been an amazing one, like always. I know you guys have been enjoying this series and it's got really good positive feedback. So I hope it starts to pick up and you share it among all your friends and share it among all the different alliances and get it on show. So if you show yourselves, you know, you could be potentially on the next episode. So let's see if you are. So until the next one, stay safe, stay sneaky, and peace out, everyone.